Good morning. Tuesday, Pashas Tazria. As Hashem with we continue our share from yesterday to explain a little bit what causes the child to behave negatively. So yesterday we spoke about, we started to speak about the Havatola Badover, and Bez Mamsha today weiter in this concept. There's another possibility to explain why the child behaves negatively is because there is certain constant feeling that he's feeling that people around him love their love towards him based on the condition. Meaning, a lot of times we tell to a child, if you do so and so, then you consider a good child. If you won't do so and so, you consider not a good child. Something cross those lines. Well, if you behave, you'll get. If you don't behave, you won't get. If you perform good in school, so then you'll get. You'll get present. If you're not gonna get. So there's constantly this language that vibes to a child that feelings. Okay, so in order for you to love me, I have to be good, and in order for you, if I won't perform, so you will dislove me. This language is not being used 24/7 over the child, but and he gets used to this language. But we should know that a child innerly is craving that he should be loved without any conditions, not any conditions, because it's very hard to accept a condition and invest in this condition. You'll be loved. If not, you'll be disloved. Meaning that it's very hard to constantly follow up with the condition in order to be loved. It's in the brain of a child. It's not shy to accept this concept that so if I will behave, so you'll love me. If not, you won't love me, because his interpretation of love is very different. The child's interpretation of love, till he gets till brain gets more developed, it's the concept that you'll feel for me, you will want me, you'll protect me, and you worry about me without any conditions. That's how the child interprets love. Again, it's a certain need. It needs to feel that you feel for me, you want me, you will protect me, you'll take care of me. That's his interpretation of love. So once he feels that this security, this love, has a slight chance that it will be diminished because there is a condition, he goes into very strong fears that he will be disloved. Therefore, it's very hard for a child to accept that if he will behave not the way he's supposed to behave, not the way the parents or teachers or rabbis demand from him, he won't be loved. He can't accept that. He can't accept that if I won't behave the way you want it to behave, you won't care about me, you won't want me, you won't protect me. You'll want me, you'll care for me, you'll take care of me only if I will behave. This puts a child in very strong fears. And be'etzem, these feelings is appears to be even by adults. Adults have the same feelings, meaning every adult wants to be loved without conditions. Meaning, let's say marriage life, the spouse, the wife will tell to the husband, I will love you, I will take care of you, I will want you, and I will care about you only if you will perform so and so, and if not, I won't. This puts certain painful statement, that there's certain painful feelings that can causes even for adults certain discomfort. But adults, the difference between adults and children, that adults have certainly bigger brain capacity. They can interpret and they can cope with this discomfort. But children don't. Children don't. And as at the time when at that moment the child feels that you won't care for me, you won't feel me, he's interpreting love. It's not even true, because every parent will care about the child if the child not behaving, but that's the way how the child interprets this statement. Once the child feels that's like there is a potential that he will lose your care, your feelings towards him, he's being exposed to a very strong instability, very strong, what leads him to fears. So this is very, very general rule. Everyone wants to be loved, nothing to do with conditions. Therefore, at a majority of times, not everyone, but the kids especially, they're trying to test the kids, to test the parents or anyone, the rabbis, the parents. So it's subconsciously, not consciously, subconsciously, do you love me? Do you love me only only on condition, or you love me because you just love me just because of my being? And this constant test, what the kids are testing the parents and the people around them. The example: sometimes we can walk with a child on the street, and child runs forward, and constantly he looks back. What does he want? What does he want? He wants to, when he looks back, he runs forward is the test. He looks back to see if the parent passed the test. Meaning, if the parents cares about, he wants to see if my father or my mother cares about me, and they'll run after me, then show that they care about me. They're here to protect me. If they don't care about me, and the parent just walks calmly, and he's seeing that the parent's not running after him. So that's a statement that you don't care about me, not here to protect me, and starts to cry, because the child wants the parent to run after him. Rather, because that's the way how subconsciously the child is testing the parent. If you're running after me, you're confirming that you're here to protect me, that you want me, you feel for me. If you don't run after me, meaning that you don't care about me, you're not here to protect and care about me, and that causes very strong pain, would make the child to burst and cry. It's very interesting to notice that kids, 1 year, half a year, 1 year old, they're constantly doing this that test to a parent to check up if the parent will pass the test or they won't pass the test. Sometimes, even if they go some deeper, sometimes the child is asking for a nash, let's say, for a chocolate, for a candy. He's asking for a nash. Lav dafke, the child wants currently this nash. The reason why he's asking you for a nash, because he wants to test you. If you will give him, so you confirming, you're satisfying his desire that he is being loved by you. If you won't give him, so you're saying to him that you're not really care about him. The kuda is love davke. Sometimes we get frustrated that kids had the nash and he's asking for more. Why do you ask for more? He just got the nash. The answer is sometimes the first time he got nash because he desired for it. It's like he wants just a nash. Second time he wants to just test you, not because he wants to nash. He wants just to test you whether you care for him, you love him without any conditions, or you don't. That's how far testing goes. Because by child interpretation of love is that you are providing me, with the care or feelings, and you're protecting me. You are providing me with satisfying my desires and my pleasures. And it's like a very poor, very minimum interpretation of love, but at his stage, that's what child is craving for. And this love can be linked to conditions. Sometimes we see we can give a child second nash, he goes and puts it in the briefcase. He's not eating it. What's that? Because his desire of, he did not ask, he was not begging you for a nash just because he wanted to eat it. He was begging for a nash because he wants the confirmation that you love him without conditions. Therefore, he's asking for all kind of stuff just to see and test if you love him by providing him his needs. Sometimes we see kids cry without a reason. They're grumpy without good reason. No one is hurting them. They're right now in a good place. They're laying on a couch. They're very good. Nothing bothering him. But Hashem is very healthy. So why does he cry? Sometimes the kids cry because also they want to test the parent. If they want to test parent, do you love me or you don't? So what does he want? He wants you to hug him, to hug her, and to give that feelings of security and protection and care. And then he'll momentarily start crying because he passed the test. And right now he feels loved, meaning because he feels protected and wanted by a parent, it's confirmed that you love him without condition. If we start to ask and investigate why do you cry, what bothering you, we're just irritating the pain. Because right now the child wants that confirmation that you love him without any conditions. Again, it's not being done consciously. The child himself, herself, don't know even why they're behaving this way. It's just everything being done subconsciously, because subconscious by child is in the first years of his life, is something which takes place, the first option, his behavior. But there is a source to it in Rashi. Rashi is saying that the Klal Yisrael in Midbar, they did all kind of stuff, very interesting behaviors, that's called negative behaviors towards the Hashem. Why? Because they wanted to test Hashem, Hayesh Hashem b'kirbeinu im oyin. They want to test Hashem, are you with me or you're not? Meaning to say, they want to test Hashem if Hashem will care for them, even at the time when they are not okay. They don't behave, they're not performing whatever they need to perform. Or Hashem will care for them only when they perform, they're being good, they're being good people. Because this is the fact of schar v'oinish. We're distracting ourselves schar v'oinish, but once we'll put our focus on schar v'oinish, we'll think that there is a oinish if you do bad deeds, and there's a schar when you do good deeds. It's very frightening to face it and to think about it. It wakes with a person very strong anxiety that there is a chance of me being punished. So naturally, when there is a schar v'oinish, if you will do good, you'll get. If you perform good deeds, you'll get the schar, and if you do bad deeds, you'll get the oinish. This is very frightening, very scary for people to accept, and this fears and this anxiety is inborn with everyone. Because we're interpreting oinish as abandonment. We're interpreting oinish that you don't love me, you don't want me. So it's a lot of, when a person gets an oinish, it's a lot of confirmation, it contains a lot of confirmations. So therefore, the clouds will constantly testing Hashem. Hayesh Hashem b'kirbeinu. Do you love me when I perform, when I do only good deeds, and if I don't do good deeds, you dislove me, or you love me unconditionally? And that was the reason why what Klal Yisrael did constantly. Certain negative, they were behaving negatively in Midbar. That's the way it comes out from Rashi. So that means a gewaldige nekuda. That means that everyone naturally has that feelings, that let's call that fear, that discomfort. Am I being loved because unconditioned, only because I'm being good, or I'm being loved unconditionally, meaning doesn't matter how I behave, good or bad? And this goes berochnis begashmis. It's not even conscious, it's subconscious by everyone. So it's very important to know that. Very important to know that, because we tend, parents, to give that very strong confirmation constantly to our child, and we do provide the child with the stuff only if he performs and he behaves the way he's supposed to behave. And it's with the time, the child just gets that feelings that, schar v'oinish, and living with schar v'oinish constantly, you got to be very on a higher level to remain well and being emotionally balanced, and still live with schar v'oinish. And this is something which the child is not ready yet. There is a reason why a child being punished from age 13 and on, that was the schar b'mitzvah, not before that. Why don't we implement our child this concept of schar v'onish before 13? Because Yor the Torah, the save datas shad adam, and Torah knows that to present to a child the concept of schar v'onish, it's something which will throw him off completely off balance. He'll become very fearful, very anxious, and very, let's call it, disordered, because to think even that there is a potential that you'll be disloved, meaning that I won't care about you and I won't provide you, I won't want you, I won't protect you if you don't behave well. This concept, this perception throws completely child off balance. Therefore, the Chazal said, child is potter. Whatever the child does, he's potter in everything, because according to his brain capacity, whatever the concept of schar v'onish needs to deliver, it will deliver opposite to a child. It won't produce positive results, and won't put in certain discipline mode. As the Chazal is saying, as the generations became weaker, they extended the shear of 13, and we came from till 20. Till 20 is not, there is no oinish. Meaning to say that certain the concept of schar v'onish, according to the brain capacity of people, it decreased, and certainly there's no the schar, but oinish lo ma'anish min hashemaim till 20. And there's a Chazal, Rashi brings it down, and the Gemara, it's like Gemara in Shabbos. It's very interesting, but whatever, it's very. There's a reason how Torah communicated with this brain development of a child, and Torah said till age 13 he's not being managed. Don't manage him. So what happens is, so we have to, if we will go with Torah the Mahalach and schar v'onish, and we will accept that till age 13 at least, the brain capacity is not allowing the child to understand and perceive the schar v'onish in a healthy manner. It's a more of a manner of oynish, abandonment, to throw him off and disloving. And we have to, if we go with the same path, so things will tremendously change. Meaning to say, we don't have to confirm the child that Sheifele, if you'll behave, if you'll perform, if you'll do good deeds, I will give you, and if you do bad deeds, I won't give you. We just can do that without confirmations. Meaning to say, when child performs well, when he does the good deeds, just give him the schar. Just give him the schar without confirmation, saying him, oh, if you behave good, so you'll get it. Just don't, without that introductions, just give him the schar. So that's an oynish also. If you're not behaving well, at oynish, you don't have to go physical. You don't have to go physical. But in a certain form, every child, according to his emotional state and brain capacity, just without any confirmation, because it's silently, child, if the schar oynish being delivered to a child silently, he still feels okay. I got oynish, but I didn't. My father still is my father, because it was never confirmed that you love only if I do good deeds, and you will do some of the bad deeds. So that's very, I think it's important to know that. So here we got, let's make it very clear. Sometimes it causes the child to behave negatively, meaning sometimes child can act very aggressively. He can even become physical. At the core of it might be that because he's testing the parent, do you love me on condition or not? Counts of scarvoinish. So two brothers or sisters, or brother and a sister, and the sister has the toy, and the brother goes to the sister, just grabs, confiscates the toy from the sister's hands, and or because physical can hurt. What does he want? What does he want? Subconsciously he wants you to go over to him and tell him that, and just hug him, or confirm that you love him without condition, because someone in his life he got a confirmation you love him only based on the conditions. And right now he's craving to hear opposite and different. So that's what might cause him that that aggressive behavior. So to make things clear, it's there's parents and there's kids. There is adult interpretation what love means, and there's a child interpretation what the love is. The workshop is that we can't live all our life with childish interpretation of love. We have to increase our understanding what love means. But inherently adult interpretation of love and child interpretation of love is totally different. Child's interpretation of love is that he wants to feel that there's a very deep need to feel that you feel for him, you care about him, you want him, you will protect him, you will take care of him. That's the childish interpretation of love. There's nothing to do with emotional, really, so much love. Emotional love, it's a more of an adult interpretation of love. That emotional harmony, it's a higher madrega of love, which we have to work on it. That's really the avoider, as I said before, to not understand the childish interpretation of love is, and increase the understanding of it. But that's the childish. So we have to, and constantly, child is testing the parent. If the parent really follows up with his interpretation of love or not, and therefore he starts to test the parent with certain provocations, certain testings, and certain tests, and see if the parent loves him the way he is craving for to be loved. And again, as I said before, it's important just to grant the child with a scar when he does good deeds, without confirming that if you'll be good, you'll get constantly good stuff. If you want, you want. Just if he did, let's say he did daven, he did learn good in yeshiva, or even smaller kids, he behaved well, just give him the present, just give him whatever you want to give without confirmation that he was good, therefore he got it. And so is punishment also. If he does not behaving, then you think that it's important to to punish your child, just give him the punish and move on without confirming. So this will reduce that feelings of being loved on a condition. And honestly, in truth, it's that's what the child feels. That's what the child feels. He wants to know, do you love me tonight on condition or not? It does not depend on whether you say if you'll be good, you will get good. If you won't be good, you won't get good. Etzem is not linking to that. It's a natural tendency what every child has to be loved, not on condition. And there's also natural tendency to constantly test the parent, do you love without condition or not? But the environment and the statements sometimes can increase this tendency. It can convert to a negative behavior, or environment can decrease the tendency. So when the parents say, I will give this, really is not the goyim, it's not the source of that tendency, not to want to be loved based on condition. It's just something that can increase the tendency and convert to a negative behavior. Yeah. The Havalat Nai, the love based on condition, it's what's the source of this? What's the source of this tendency? What's the source of this not wanting, not to be wanted, to be to be loved on condition? Because then becomes it's as David HaMelech said, Ger anoichi ba'aretz. When a person feels that you love me just based on condition, it's a sense to a person certain feelings of being alone, lonely. A person, people think that's how the brain works. I think with potentially, it's so easy for me to lose, it's considered like I don't have it. Meaning, because it's so easy to lose that condition that you love me for, therefore I accept like you don't love me, because it's so easy to lose that condition. Therefore, a person feels already like he's alone. Because if I won't behave the way you want it to behave, so you will dislove me, and it's so easy to violate the T'nai. So I look at it like I'm alone already. You don't love me. You don't want me. That's this very. It's more of a perceptional ingrained in perception interpretation of love. If someone feels that you love him or her only because of condition, so the person feels alone due to vulnerability, that night it's so easy to lose that condition. So I feel already like I'm alone. So therefore, it's very important to understand this concept. That child always constantly testing, yes, Hashem b'kirbeinem oyin. Do you love me or you don't love me? Because when the child senses that you love him on condition, he feels alone. And he feels alone, then the problems, a lot of problems starts. He starts to demand negatively the love. So it will help me to not to be alone. So, but it's more we confirming to the child by providing with that confirmation that I love you, and no matter what, whether you do good deeds, you don't do good deeds, you perform, you don't perform, it shows and it makes the child feel that you care, you want me, you protect me, no matter what I do it, and it actually prevents the child of acting negatively and makes the child to grow higher and higher. Kol Tov, Atzlach Rabba to everyone.